A low trim Hyundai Elantra for almost 30,000 bucks? A Ram 1500 Limited for 20K over MSRP? Cars and trucks are expensive these days, and it's not just the original purchase price. Insurance and maintenance you'll need to think about here, because there's also hidden costs of raw, naked depreciation. Yeah, that's a big word. I had to look it up.
What is that?
Look, virtually all cars depreciate, but the ones I've got for you today are the top 10 that depreciate the smallest. Like, subscribe, and starting with now. This is the entry-level truck formula that made Ford a go-to brand for utility. It's a spunky, little compact pickup that consistently ranks either really high or best overall in its class. And there is a lot to love about this little thing. But firstly, it's depreciation. And by that, of course, I mean the lack of depreciation. According to KBB's data, the 2024 Ford Maverick is projected to hold 54% of its original sticker price value in the next 5 years. So, to put all that into perspective, and this is important to remember for all the vehicles on this list going forward, the average new vehicle will only hold around 40% of its value over 5 years, and by default, lose almost 60% of the original sale price. The Ford Maverick, on the other hand, is handily above that and will stay strong in the resale department for the foreseeable future. And there's no real wonder why. I mean, the Maverick comes standard with a hot little turbocharged 4-cylinder and has optional all-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive, yes, it is standard. And while that might not scream utility truck, the variation you can have with this little pickup is why it is such a good buy. And we can see this lack of depreciation in real time. Over the last 10 months or so, the 2024 Maverick has only lost around 2.8% of its value. Now that is solid, folks. And if you want to buy any of these vehicles on this list, well, use the Auto Tempest link. I pinned it in the first comment below. Up next is a car that wouldn't be more different than the Maverick if it could be in terms of purpose and, well, street cred. It's the 2024 Porsche 718 Cayman. This, my friends, is one of, if not the best sports car chassis of the last decade, and paired with a powerful flat 4, or even better, that symphonic 4-liter flat 6, and Porsche's best in the biz 6-speed manual transmissions, well, you've got yourself a near perfect ideal car. And while all that is wildly different than, say, the Maverick, as far as resale value goes, the Cayman is just as strong. Now, KBB projects that the 2024 Porsche 718 will hold a solid 54.2% of its value over the next 5 years. And judging from how Porsches seem to trend in terms of resale price, well, it wouldn't be that crazy to think that a well-spec'd modern 718 could easily become a collectible in the very near future. And real quick, take a look at the real-time resale data. We see just how strong the market is for these things. In the last 7 months, the new 718 Caymans have actually gone up in value by more than 7%, giving this model a great head start in the race of value retention. Okay, on to the next with, yet again, a completely different kind of vehicle. And this is the 2024 Toyota 4Runner. Not only is this vehicle the blueprint for sport utility vehicles starting all the way back to the 1980s, but these new ones, oh, they are built to last, folks. It's got that trusty 4-liter V6 and an automatic transmission, stuff we're all familiar with from past 4Runners. But the newer models are substantially more comfy on the road, and even more capable off-road as well. But even more impressive than all of that is the ability to hold its value. KBB's data tells us that in 5 years, the 4Runner will hold 54.6% of its original sale price. Though it's not by much, beating a Porsche sports car in value perception is uber impressive for a big rig like the 4Runner. And oh, let's check out that real-time data real quick. In the last 6 or 7 months, 2024 4Runners have only lost a touch over 3% of their value. And that's a very decent rate considering KBB's 5-year prediction. Up next, another Toyota, but more in the Prius kind of way. You know, this is the Prius, and there are very few cars as influential in the hybrid segment as it. And love them or hate them, well, they are projected to be incredible value holders in the next 5 years. KBB predicts that 55.3% of the Prius's original price will remain over the next half decade, better than any car so far on this list. And since its humble beginnings in the early 2000s here in North America, the Prius has gained a lot of great features. The 2024 models offer a standard front-wheel drive hybrid setup with 194 horses, But you can opt for the all-wheel drive option and you get 5 more horsepower. Yes, 5 from an additional electric motor out back. They're also comfier than ever, more fuel efficient than ever, and definitely cooler looking than ever as well. Dare I say, trending on sexy. I mean, who thought a Prius could be so sleek? And the real-time data? Well, the Prius is overachieving as always. In the last 6 months, the Prius has actually gone up in value an average of 2%. Next up is, yes, another Toyota, but this one's a lot more spicy than the Prius. It's the 2024 GR Supra. Now, there's been a lot of hiccups with the Supra over the last several years. Sales dwindling lower than expected, dealers marking them up 5, 10, 15,000 bucks or more. Then the lack of special ordering systems deterring buyers. And just recently, news of its inevitable death in 2026 alongside its mechanical sibling, the BMW Z4. But amongst all this craziness, the Supra is actually projected to be really strong in the coming years. KBB ranks the Supra as its 6th best resale value pick with a value retention percentage of 57.2% over 5 years. And when you think about it, it's kind of making sense, right? There are limited numbers of these cars, even fewer with the desirable manual transmission, and it's now going out of production in just a couple short years. And once they're gone, it'll be as simple as supply and demand. But according to the real-time data, it seems like the recent dealer markups are affecting its month-to-month value retention. Yeah, over the last 6 months, the 2024 Supra has lost around 14% of its value. But don't worry, because in the long term, it's bound to level out nicely. Up next, we continue with the sports car theme, but this pick is mid-engine. Exotic. Well, kinda. It's the 2024 Chevy Corvette. The Corvette engineers always wanted to do a mid-engine Corvette. In fact, GM has had mid-engine Corvette prototypes since the 1960s, but they finally did it for production in the current and 8th generation, and they absolutely nailed it, even though the design language is a little bit off. I think it's because you can fit 2 golf clubs in the back, but that just might be me. Now, journalists and customers alike have mostly loved this car, and the projections of its resale value potential reflect that sentiment. KBB projects that the 2024 Corvette will retain a whopping 59% of its original sale price, and that's before you even consider the rare Z06 and the soon-to-be released ZR1 variant. But even for the original starting price, which is very affordable for a mid-engine sports car, this car is a performance bargain. That 6.2-liter V8, the straight line speed, and its handling ability all culminate into what is possibly the world's best bang for buck sports car ever. And one quick look at the real-time data shows just how solid the market will be too. Over the last 6 months, the 2024 C8 Corvette has not only retained its value, but actually saw an overall average increase of 0.17%. But hey, yeah, I get it. Not everyone is in the market for a wild machine like the Vette. They might want something that can run for 1,000,000 miles without breaking a sweat. This is the 2024 Toyota Tundra, and by the way, yes, there is a very famous 1,000,000-mile Tundra. You should just look it up. Anyways, the 2024 Tundra is a truck that displays the best of Toyota's durability and reliability when, well, there's not metal shavings in the cylinder. So once that has a warranty fix, well, it's gonna keep the value up at the same time. KBB predicts that over the next 5 years, a new Tundra will retain a really solid 60.4% of its original price. And there's a plethora of variants to satisfy your needs, from the base SR to the much better equipped SR5 trim, or even the big boy hybrid version. And like many of the vehicles on this list, well, we can just see how well its value is performing in real time. And though it hasn't gone up in value, which is rare anyway for utility-centered trucks, plus these are mass produced, the 2024 Tundra has only lost as little as 3% of value on average in the last 6 months. And that is more than on track with KBB's 5-year prediction. So it's a great value. And once they get the engines figured out, go buy one. The Tundra, well, it's legendary, but it's not quite as iconic as the Mercedes G-Wagon. You know, the 2024 model is one of the best resale performers on this list, hands down, and probably the best sounding. Sorry, Corvette. Now, KBB's predictions have the G-Class retaining 60.2% of its original value, a genuinely impressive number. The G-Class is right next to the S-Class as Mercedes' most storied and important models in history. It's literally served in militaries around the world because of its indestructible nature, and it's safe to say they still look like they could go to war. They are pricey when new, but they come with some truly special off-road differentials and suspension tricks that can put almost any rugged truck on the market to shame. Plus, the twin-turbo Mercedes V8 ain't no slouch either and sounds incredible doing it. G-Classes have always retained value decently well, but the 2024 models seem to be headed in a great direction, and we can see that in the real-time data. In a 6-month period, the 2024 G-Class has fluctuated but certainly stayed strong, showing actually a slight increase, 0.27%, in value since the start of the year. Next up is a vehicle with all the G-Wagon's utility, but with a slightly more humble means. It's the 2024 Toyota Tacoma, which, love or hate the design, it has a lot of history. You see, since the early 90s, the Tacoma has been building on the original Toyota pickup's legacy of affordable and stylish reliability, and it comes with the 2024 models as well. But there's something even more reliable about the 2024 Tacoma, and that's its projected resale value. KBB's predictions have the 2024 Tacoma retaining an amazing 62.6% of its original value over the next 5 years. And for such a relatively cheap new truck, I say that lightly, that kind of resale value, it's unheard of. And if you're someone looking to get your hands on one, well, there's like a million different versions you can pick from, all with solid features and powertrains. But how is the Tacoma's resale value looking in real time? Well, let's take a look. Well, there is of course some depreciation as to be expected, but over the past 6 months, the average new Tacoma has only lost 3.65% of its original value. And considering its stellar KBB 5-year projection, the Tacoma is well on its way to some really solid resale value in the future. Up next, we've got one of the biggest hitters of them all. And step aside mid-engine sports cars, military G-Wagons, and all the Toyotas that you can think of, because in 2024, the Ford Bronco takes the cake as the highest projected resale value of 66.7% of its original value. And yeah, as you have probably known, well, the Bronco has had something of a revival in the past few years, and without a doubt, the people at Ford hit a home run. It has great space, great power, and pretty affordable price, and some serious off-road chops to top it all off. The real-time data, well, it's the best of the list by far over the last 6 years. Since January, the Bronco has gained over 16% in resale value, and of course it will fluctuate more and more over the coming years. These numbers show huge promise in how the market will perform in the future. So let us know your thoughts on this list down below. And like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and check out some of these Ideal vids over here. I'm Brad the Financial Cowboy. This is Ideal. We'll see you next week, and promise me one thing. Keep living the ideal lifestyle.